Right, we're here in Ashton-under-Lyne. It's raining pretty hard, but obviously that's meant to be quite normal for Manchester. And I'm here with Aroma Hassan. How are you doing, Aroma? Enjoying the rain?
I am loving the rain. You're not a northerner unless you love the rain. We are 4-season people, but we only get 2 seasons. Rain and rain.
Or clouds.
When you're impassioned to do something amazing and be the change you want to see, then it's not going to matter whether it's raining or snowing or sleeting. You know that there's a task and you're going to do it.
No one was expecting him to call the election at that time.
No.
What was your response when you heard that?
Bring it on.
If I didn't believe that I could make a difference, then why would I be out canvassing every single night? Why have I been out talking to all the constituents that I can possibly get to? Why are we here today? The only reason you run for election, you run as an MP, is because you want to make a difference.
Yeah. Here, where George Galloway launched the Workers' Party here, because
he did just round the corner.
I mean, because he thought that this was a seat that was definitely winnable. I mean, is that the thinking there?
It's an incredibly important seat. The fact that we are planning to unseat somebody who is the deputy leader of the Labour Party, they are sure that they're going to win, the Labour Party, and come into power, and therefore she would be the deputy leader of the country.
Angela Rayner in this area has lost integrity by the people. A lot of people will tell you that they don't know who to vote for, but they won't be voting for Angela because of all the promises and the false promises that she's made. She has lost integrity. You know, it's got nothing to do with how many houses you've got. It's got nothing to, it's just down to the fact of somebody who, bare minimum, should be carrying out surgeries in the local area. You don't see her.
People like myself have stepped up because there's inhumanity at home with the homelessness, with the way that our taxes are being spent, with the fact that the NHS is being privatised from under our nose, parts of it, with the way that PFI contracts are embedded in our schools now and in our other public services. Like it's been an awakening.
I've seen Aroma in this area more times in the last 4 months than I've seen Angela in the area in the last however many years she's been in position, unless it's for a photo opportunity.
The war that Israel are pushing on Gaza, they're just killing people, the genocide.
I think we do have a moral compass in this country. I think the polls showed that when they did sort of put polls out about, you know, who thinks that it's justified what's happening in the Middle East. When those polls came out, we saw that 75, more than 75 in some instances, % of the British public said that they wanted it to stop. However, our politicians didn't listen to us.
Roma's going to play a clean fight. She's asked her for a hustings, I believe is the term. And she replied, "Oh no, I'm not good enough for that." You know what I mean? That's the attitude that comes across. And no amount of backpedaling, as she's done on many different issues, Palestine, the backpedaling that she's done on that, it's a lot of rubbish. You know, be honest, be truthful. If you're not going to agree to something, then hold to your values. Don't come back on yourself.
Labour's saying we're paying more money into schools, but that money is effectively just going to go to private companies who run them, isn't it?
So when we entrust those children to private equity firms or you know, these academies, what are we doing? We're taking the power out of the hands of the actual people that work there. So they're now, instead, they're now dictated to, you know, they're given scripts. I have friends who have 20, 30 years experience who have just left the profession.
Where are you going to pull the money from? Where are you going to do this? Where are you going to do that? These are the questions that people are asking. These are the questions that Aroma's asking because we're asking them. What's Angela asking?
I was one of the first years where tuition fees was implemented into universities, and the grant system started to erode. It was a Labour government who had introduced the tuition fees for students. So we must have free thinkers. We must have a next generation who come from all echelons of the community, all workers must have the option to educate themselves, because some of the best thinkers came from the poorest communities. It's a no-brainer.
She's got the community back together, especially in the ward I live. It's unreal. It really is. People are just talking, inviting you to go and do different activities. Nobody does that with Angela. You see all the photographs, they're all high-class people having photographs at Ashton United Football Club. But she ran away when we were dealing with something at Ashton United Football Club on the Whip Friday band contest with a mental health group called Andy's Man Club, which I'm a facilitator for in Ashton. Did she want a photographic opportunity there with, a national mental health group? Oh no.
As someone who was brought up under Blair, what would you say his achievements were?
He attacked Iraq. That is something that I find unconscionable, especially now that we know that there were no weapons of mass destruction.
I think it's down to one thing. The standards we accept are the standards we pass. And that's a military saying. The standards you pass are the standards you accept. She's not passing these problems that she's seeing on the street. She's picking them out and she's sorting and dealing with them. And to me, Angela's not saying it. She's accepting, oh, well, I tell you what, I'm going to put a dirty, great big banner about Angela Rayner, and what's underneath it? Fly tipping. Gee, let me think. Common sense would have thought of a team of people to clear it.
We hear that the NHS, there are no waiting lists in Tony Blair's time.
What was it that he did? Let's peel it back. Let's see, where were those investments made? Where did the money come from? And was it really that bad before him? Were the waiting times really that bad? We're comparing it to what there is now, and we're saying, oh, back then he did things to change it. But the truth is that the waiting times were never that long before he came into power in the first place.
How many times we hear people say, well, it's not like there's any change. Well, what are you doing to change? I said something to Aroma. If you tell 10 people in a conversation about what we're doing, and those 10 people tell 10 people, that's 100 people. How long does it take to have 10 conversations about what you're doing? You'll do that every day.
It's so important that we have other candidates who speak out and let people know what's actually going on, isn't it? The NHS could be dead by the end of this Parliament.
I just don't understand how I could live with myself if I didn't stand up and try to be counted for a voice for saving those things that are most important to us, like the NHS.
I know of a letter that was sent to her because she was on the board of governors of a special educational needs school, and saying that there is a problem and we need to address it. There is no problem. That was the letter. There is not a problem. Yet the council have now admitted a liability that this child has been forgotten and passed through the net. So she obviously never did her research, and she's on the board of governors. She's board of governors of a special needs school, and she's going to be running the country as Deputy Prime Minister. I'm scared.
Are you hopeful that you can win this seat?
I wouldn't be here if I wasn't hopeful. With the team that we've got, we're doing things strategically. We've got a business analyst, we've got local expertise, we've got people who are joining every day because they want to be the change they want to see. They want to see the status quo challenged. They want to see integrity and accountability back in politics.
People like Aroma are bringing change into this area. We'll work together, as a team. And this is proven because of what we do now. We're working as a team. And it's madness. It's non-stop. But if you want to do something, you find the energy, you do it.
The power needs to be back with the people, and that's what my campaign is showing.
You're not actually doing any negative stuff about Angela Rayner, despite the fact that she is this big name, and there's a lot of reasons why you could do that. I mean, you are putting forward a positive manifesto from the Workers' Party. It's a really great thing you're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody knows me, my personality, I am very much a glass half full person. I believe in rolling the sleeves up and mucking in. If there's a problem, let's fix it. Let's leave this world a better place than what we found it. That's how I was raised. So for me to target somebody on a personal level will never happen, but on policy, I'm happy to challenge, because I know that there are holes in policy of the current MP. And I think if she was doing her job, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be so supported by the local population.
And that's why I believe we can win comfortably with Aroma, if people can understand that they can go to her and she will be a voice for us.